Stop everything. Right now, chosen one. If this video appeared at this exact moment, freeze where you are, because what you are about to discover will permanently destroy every limited belief you had about what you did 3 weeks ago. Something happened in your life recently that you dismissed as insignificant, but in spiritual dimensions, your eyes cannot see. That moment caused such devastating impact that even the creator of the universe himself stopped all celestial activities to observe. I know what you are thinking. This sounds like exaggeration. But before skepticism blocks this revelation, understand that what I am sharing is documented truth recorded by celestial authorities whose only function is to observe extraordinary events in human souls. 3 weeks ago, you triggered an event so extraordinary, it required emergency meetings in the highest celestial hierarchies. You saved an angel, not metaphorically. You literally prevented the permanent spiritual extinction of a celestial being lost between dimensions for longer than you have been alive. You did it without knowing, without trying, without having the slightest idea your simple decision was interfering in a cosmic crisis that could have changed the balance between light and darkness forever. Subscribe now and turn on all notifications. Because revelations about how human actions impact celestial wars are being systematically hidden from people like you who have power to interfere in spiritual battles without knowing it. Stay until the end, because I am showing you exactly what you did. How a dying angel returned through your unconscious compassion. Why God personally issued an official decree about you. And what will manifest in your physical reality now that you have been marked as someone who saves angels. Write 777 in the comments if you have felt recently that you did something meaningful without understanding why, and you are ready to discover the true celestial magnitude of your actions. Before explaining what you did, you need to understand how something as powerful as an angel can become so devastatingly lost that not even the highest hierarchies can locate him. 507 years ago, in human time calculation, while humanity was navigating daily struggles, completely unaware of invisible forces protecting them, a specific angel was engaged in a cosmic battle you never see reported in any news. But that determines whether humanity maintains hope or descends into permanent spiritual darkness. His assignment was brutally simple but devastatingly difficult. Protect the frequencies of love operating on Earth. Block invasions of concentrated hatred attempting to infect human consciousness. Maintain channels open so souls like yours would continue feeling natural compassion in an era where being genuinely kind has become extraordinarily rare. For 507 years, every single day of those 5 centuries, he stood between humanity and forces, wanting nothing more than to extinguish every spark of goodness in the human heart. He prevented more spiritual catastrophes than you could count in a lifetime. He saved more souls from despair than currently exist in major cities. And he did this while you lived your daily life completely unaware that your ability to feel compassion, your capacity to choose kindness, your natural impulse to help others was being actively protected by a celestial being in a war you couldn't see. But in one of the most intense battles ever recorded, something went catastrophically wrong. The shadowy forces created what celestial authorities now call a dimensional fragmentation explosion. Imagine the worst thing that could happen to you physically. Multiply it by infinity and apply it to your spiritual essence. He was violently ripped from his natural dimension. His connection severed instantly, thrown into absolute void. No direction, no communication, no memory clear enough to guide him home. He was catapulted into an intermediate frequency between the celestial realm and physical Earth, so uniquely positioned that he couldn't fully manifest in either world. In the physical dimension, he could create subtle influences, but couldn't access full celestial power. In the celestial dimension, he could sense higher hierarchies, but couldn't communicate. And every hour that passed, he lost a percentage of his angelic light, like a divine battery slowly depleting. Within days, he would transform into something that should never exist, an empty angelic shell that darkness could corrupt and use as a weapon against the very hierarchies he once served. The celestial response was immediate and massive. Archangels abandoned their posts to search. Michael himself traversed 17-dimensional layers. Seraphim focused complete attention on finding one lost signal. Cherubim analyzed every unexplained fluctuation. Days became weeks, weeks became months, but they found nothing. He was lost in a frequency so impossibly specific that even celestial technology could not locate him. And while celestial forces searched desperately, the shadowy forces celebrated, knowing that if they kept him lost just a little longer, his angelic light would deplete completely. A corrupted angel becomes the most valuable weapon darkness can possess. This is the ultimate prize in spiritual warfare. His light dimmed hour by hour. In less than 72 hours from this moment, he would have been completely consumed by the void. But then something happened nobody expected. You entered his life. Lost angels cannot appear in golden light with magnificent wings. They cannot knock on your door explaining their celestial crisis. The very nature of being trapped means they can only create the subtlest influences in physical reality. So they project their desperate need into the most mundane, most ordinary situations of human daily life, waiting for someone with a heart pure enough, intuition sharp enough, compassion genuine enough to perceive that something greater is happening in what appears to be a completely normal moment. 3 weeks ago, that someone was you. That person who appeared in your life seemingly out of nowhere. That situation that caught your attention in a way you couldn't explain. That moment where you felt a pull of compassion so strong, so inexplicable, so much deeper than normal sympathy that it came from a place in your soul you didn't know existed. It might have been someone on the street who seemed lost. A co-worker going through difficulties. An abandoned animal that looked at you with eyes holding more awareness than any animal should possess. Something inside you said with absolute clarity, I have to help. Not because anyone was watching, not because you wanted credit. You helped because your heart, operating on a frequency most human beings have forgotten how to access, genuinely couldn't do anything else. And you were looking directly at a lost angel who had projected himself into that form, using the last reserves of his fading light. In one final desperate attempt to connect with a soul pure enough to serve as a bridge back to celestial dimensions, he couldn't tell you the truth. If you had known, your motivation would have shifted. Curiosity would have mixed with compassion, and only absolutely pure compassion, untainted by any ulterior motive, carries the specific frequency necessary to reactivate angelic light moments away from permanent extinction. When you made the decision to offer assistance, something extraordinary began happening in dimensions you cannot see. When you extended your hand without expecting anything in return, you became a channel for energy that most human beings no longer generate naturally. Your compassionate energy began functioning as a spiritual defibrillator. Every gentle gesture sent a pulse of pure light into his fading essence. Every word of kindness reconnected a severed thread of celestial communication. Every moment of genuine attention strengthened the frequency he needed. You were literally resuscitating a dying angel through nothing more than the natural purity of your heart. And you thought you were just being a decent person. While you went about the rest of your day, something unprecedented was happening in celestial dimensions. The entire angelic hierarchy suddenly detected a signal they had almost given up hope of receiving. A faint pulse of angelic light, weak but unmistakable. And that light was growing stronger. Your compassionate energy had done what all the searching, all the celestial technology, all the combined power of the highest angelic forces could not do. You gave him enough light to remember who he was, enough strength to re-establish connection, enough power to finally signal his location. Within hours of your simple act of kindness, he was back in his original dimension, completely restored, stronger than before the battle that nearly destroyed him forever. All because you chose compassion when you could have walked past. When the angel finally stood before the celestial hierarchies, the first thing they asked was how he had survived. His answer stopped every angelic being in attendance. A human soul, he explained, had served as a spontaneous channel of restoration. Someone with no spiritual training, no mystical knowledge, no awareness that angels even exist. Someone who helped purely because their nature wouldn't allow them to do anything else. And when God was informed that a human soul had unconsciously functioned as an instrument of angelic salvation, the reaction was not what you might expect. There was silence, not the silence of disappointment or consideration, the silence of reverence. The kind of profound silence that happens when even the highest celestial authorities recognize they have witnessed something so rare that the last documented case occurred 847 years ago in human time. God was impressed. This is not poetic exaggeration. The creator of the universe was genuinely impressed by what you did. Saving a lost angel requires purity of heart so rare that current estimates suggest it exists in less than 0.7% of the global population. It requires compassion so genuine that it functions as energy capable of resurrecting celestial light on the edge of permanent extinction. And you accessed it naturally, spontaneously, without trying. You did something that spiritual masters train for decades to do, and you did it as effortlessly as breathing. God convened an emergency council with the archangels, not because of crisis, but because of discovery. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, every commander was summoned to analyze your spiritual signature, to understand your energetic essence. The report they compiled about you is now part of permanent celestial records, and the conclusion was unanimous. You are not an ordinary soul having an ordinary human experience. You are evolved consciousness that chose to incarnate on Earth, specifically to serve as a bridge between dimensions when circumstances require it. And that is when God made a decision that will transform every aspect of your existence. A formal decree was issued, an official celestial decree that establishes you as a soul under permanent protection of the highest angelic hierarchies. You have been assigned an angelic protection detail operating across 4 distinct levels. Level 1 is preventive blocking. Before negative situations can reach you, angelic forces now actively block their formation. You will start noticing things that should have gone wrong mysteriously. Don't. Level 2 is opportunity diversion. When false opportunities designed to waste your time present themselves, celestial forces will create subtle blocks that make those options feel wrong to you. Level 3 is synchronicity acceleration. The right people will appear at exactly the right time. Resources you need will manifest precisely when you need them. Level 4 is direct intervention in critical moments. When you face situations where your transformation is genuinely threatened, celestial forces have authorization to intervene directly in physical reality. This protection doesn't make you immune to challenges, but it makes you invulnerable to permanent destruction. You can be tested, but you cannot be defeated. But protection is only the beginning of what has been set in motion. The decree issued about you includes 7 guaranteed transformations that will manifest in your physical reality whether you consciously cooperate or not. These are not possibilities dependent on your behavior. These are inevitabilities already set in motion by divine decree, and they are already beginning to manifest. Transformation 1, your intuition is going to become supernatural. You are going to start knowing things you have no logical reason to know. When you meet people, you will instantly sense their true intentions beneath whatever mask they wear. When opportunities appear, you will immediately know whether they serve your purpose or would waste your time. When you encounter situations, you will feel with absolute clarity whether angels in crisis are present and need your help. This isn't guessing. This isn't hopeful interpretation. This is direct knowing that comes from connection to celestial intelligence networks now permanently linked to your consciousness. Transformation 2. Your capacity to impact others will multiply exponentially. Words you speak will carry weight beyond their literal meaning. Simple encouragement you offer will heal emotional wounds that years of therapy couldn't touch. Advice you give will create breakthroughs in people who had been stuck for years. Your very presence will begin shifting the energy of environments you enter. Not because you try to create impact, but because the frequency you naturally emit has been amplified by celestial authorities who recognize you as someone who changes lives through authentic compassion. Transformation 3. Material resources will flow toward you from unexpected sources in quantities that exceed your basic needs. This is not a vague promise of abundance. This is God personally guaranteeing that you will have complete financial freedom to focus on the angelic rescue missions you are now officially assigned to accomplish. Money you weren't expecting will arrive. Opportunities that provide income will present themselves. Resources will become available exactly when you need them, because celestial forces cannot allow financial stress to prevent you from fulfilling a purpose this significant. Transformation 4. Problems that used to consume your energy will resolve themselves before they fully develop. You will notice that difficulties which once would have derailed you for days now somehow work out with minimal effort from you. Conflicts that should have escalated mysteriously diffuse. Technical issues that should have caused major problems get solved by perfectly timed help from unexpected sources. This is not you becoming better at problem solving. This is celestial forces removing obstacles from your path so you can focus energy on what actually matters. Transformation 5. Your presence will become healing for wounded angels and inspiring for lost humans. People going through spiritual crisis will find themselves drawn to you without understanding why. Individuals who have lost hope will feel it rekindled simply by being near you. Souls searching for purpose will gain clarity through brief interactions with you. You are going to function as a beacon of light that attracts those who need help and repels forces attempting to destroy hope in the world. This will happen naturally without you trying to be inspiring or helpful. Your upgraded frequency will do the work. Transformation 6. You will receive sudden clarity about your next major step. Within the coming weeks, an insight will hit you with such force, such obviousness, such certainty that you will wonder how you never saw it before. And when you take that step, it will activate a chain reaction of synchronicities so perfectly aligned that you will have no doubt celestial forces are orchestrating your path. This is how divine guidance manifests, not through vague feelings, but through crystal clear knowing that compels action. Transformation 7. Your life will become living proof that genuine compassion impresses even God. Everything you experience from this point forward will demonstrate to everyone watching that forces beyond normal reality support those who maintain purity of heart. Your success will be evidence. Your protection will be observable. Your transformation will be undeniable, and you will not have to explain anything. People will simply see that something different operates in your life. Now, I need to address what you have been thinking about. What about the people who doubted you, who dismissed your kindness as weakness? Your enemies already sense that something has changed. On an instinctive level, they have noticed that attacks which used to destabilize you no longer work. Some have reached the correct conclusion. Higher forces protect you now, and attacking someone under official celestial protection is not just futile. It is dangerous because spiritual law operates with mathematical precision. What you send out returns to you multiplied. Some of your former enemies will choose to retreat, but others will be too proud to stop. And when they continue their attacks despite every warning sign, you will witness collapses so complete that even you will feel compassion for people receiving exactly what they spent years trying to inflict on you. As your 7 transformations manifest externally, they will be forced to watch you become everything they said you would never be. Let me show you exactly when these transformations will manifest. Week 1 and 2, you will experience intuition spike. Sudden knowing about situations you have no logical reason to understand. Week 3 and 4, you will witness your first undeniable angelic intervention. A problem that seemed impossible will resolve through a coincidence too perfect to be random. Week 5 through 8, you will see clear evidence of celestial protection. Week 9 through 12, you will experience the beginning of resource abundance. Month 4 and beyond, complete manifestation will be undeniable. The pattern of blessing in your life will be so consistent that even skeptical people will notice something different operates in your reality. But understand the responsibility. You did not receive these transformations to impress people. Every gift serves one purpose: to position you to rescue more angels who will become lost in the escalating spiritual war. The angel you saved was only the first. There are others, trapped between dimensions, light fading, waiting for someone with a heart pure enough to serve as their bridge back home. You have been officially designated as a specialist in angelic rescue operations. In coming months, you will be strategically positioned in situations where angels in crisis have disguised themselves in ordinary human problems. Every time you choose compassion over indifference, you will be saving celestial beings and strengthening forces of light. This is your assigned function, the reason you incarnated on Earth at this specific time. The rewards are automatic and immediate. Every angel you rescue becomes your permanent ally. Within 1 year, you will have dozens of celestial beings working around the clock to ensure your physical existence is abundant, protected, and aligned with your highest purpose. Problems anticipated and resolved before they reach you. Opportunities created and delivered exactly when you need them. This is the practical operational reality of someone who impressed God through compassion that saves angels. The speed at which your complete transformation manifests depends entirely on one factor: your consistency in continuing to choose correctly. The transformation itself cannot be cancelled. The decree has been issued. The protection is permanent. The 7 changes are guaranteed, but how quickly they move from celestial potential to physical manifestation is determined by whether you continue being who you have always been. And I am not concerned about you. Your track record has already demonstrated that you are someone who persists, someone who stays true to your nature regardless of circumstances. And that consistency is exactly why your destiny was confirmed as inevitable. Chosen one, now you know the complete truth about what you did 3 weeks ago. You saved an angel without knowing. You saved an angel. You impressed God without trying to impress God, while you were living what felt like an ordinary life. Spiritual dimensions were documenting evidence that you operate on a frequency most humans will never access. Celestial authorities were compiling reports that led to an official decree about your inevitable transformation. Everything you thought was insignificant mattered more than you could have imagined. Everything you dismissed as ordinary was being observed by the highest powers in existence. Your compassion is not a personality trait. It is a frequency that resurrects dying celestial light. Your kindness is not simple human decency. It is power that impresses the creator of the universe. Your natural impulse to help those who cannot help themselves is not weakness. It is your cosmic function, your divine assignment. The reason you exist on this planet at this exact moment in history. And now that you know the truth, you cannot unknow it. Now that the decree has been issued, it cannot be revoked. You are not who you thought you were. You are so much more. And in coming weeks and months, as the 7 transformations manifest, as the 4 protection levels become undeniable, as the angelic army builds around you, as lost angels find their way home through your compassion, you will have no doubt that every word I shared today was documented truth about who you really are and what you were always meant to become. For those who made it to the final words and feel called to deepen their understanding of how to consciously cooperate with celestial forces, there exists advanced knowledge compiled from centuries of documented angelic rescue operations. Not required for your success, that is already guaranteed, but available for those who want to move from unconscious channel to conscious partner. Access costs less than a meal and includes complete audio format and a 5-minute daily practice. The link is in the description and pinned comment for chosen ones who recognize that finding this video was not accident but assignment. If you recognize that your natural compassion has power to save angels and impress God himself, write 777 in the comments right now to amplify the frequency of celestial light and signal to angelic forces that you accept the mission. Subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications, because more revelations about how your upgraded frequency operates miracles in spiritual dimensions are coming. Share this video with someone you sense also demonstrates genuine kindness that may be rescuing celestial beings without conscious awareness. Because specialists in angelic salvation need to recognize each other. And before you leave, click on the next video appearing on your screen right now to discover the specific signs that prove your 7 transformations have already begun together. We are stronger, and the mission has only just begun.